If you've flown in the US, you know American Airlines, the world's largest airline by flights and passengers. With a massive fleet and a presence in nearly every major airport, American is a name that's hard to miss in the skies or on the ground. But being the biggest hasn't made it the most profitable. In fact, American consistently lags behind Delta and United, sometimes by billions in a single quarter. Despite its scale, the airline struggles to turn its size into financial strength. So, what went wrong? The answer is a series of decisions that left the airline struggling. Leadership missteps and strategic errors have haunted American for years. The pandemic was a turning point, but it was American's response, its leadership's choices, that set off a chain of negative consequences. Instead of adapting quickly, the airline doubled down on risky strategies. From retiring planes too soon to failed expansion plans, American made moves that seemed bold at the time, but backfired in the long run, leaving gaps in its network and fleet. And with controversial changes to its booking system, American's missteps have had lasting effects. Passengers face confusion and frustration, damaging the airline's reputation. We'll break down how these decisions limited where American can fly, raised costs, and alienated customers. The ripple effects are still being felt today, impacting both travelers and the company's bottom line. We'll also look at what the airline is doing now to fix its problems and try to catch up to its rivals. New strategies, investments, and leadership changes are all part of the effort to turn things around. This is the story of how the world's biggest airline ended up fighting just to keep pace, struggling to regain the trust of its customers and the confidence of investors. Let's dive into the key moments that shaped American's turbulent journey, from its early days to the challenges it faces today. The answers reveal why size doesn't always equal success in the airline industry, and why American's story is a cautionary tale for any company chasing growth at all costs. In early 2020, travel collapsed. Airports that once bustled with travelers became eerily quiet, and airlines faced an unprecedented crisis. The world seemed to pause overnight, and the aviation industry was hit especially hard. American Airlines predicted a slow recovery, especially for international flights. With borders closed and uncertainty everywhere, the airline braced for a long period of reduced demand. Acting on this, it permanently retired nearly a third of its long-haul fleet. Entire models like the Airbus A330, Boeing 757, and 767. These aircraft, once the backbone of transatlantic and trans-Pacific routes, were suddenly gone for good. The goal was to cut costs, but this move was far more drastic than what Delta or United did. American's decision was bold but also risky, as it left little room for flexibility. United stored its planes, ready to bring them back if needed. This approach allowed United to quickly respond if travel demand returned sooner than expected. Delta retired only its oldest jets, keeping a more modern fleet on standby. Both airlines hedged their bets, waiting to see how the recovery would unfold. American's bet was that domestic travel would rebound first, and international demand would take years to recover. The airline shifted its focus to shorter routes, hoping to weather the storm. But by scrapping so many planes, American locked itself into a future with limited international reach. The decision narrowed its ability to serve global markets, even as competitors kept their options open. This gamble would soon backfire, as the world's appetite for travel returned much faster than expected. International borders reopened, and demand for long-haul flights surged. The decision to retire so many aircraft wasn't just a cost-saving measure, it was a risky bet on the future. It was a move that would shape the airline's fate for years to come, and it left American with fewer options when demand surged back. The airline struggled to add flights and meet the renewed interest in international travel. The consequences would be felt almost immediately. Passengers faced limited choices, and American lost ground to its rivals. Sometimes, saving money in the short term can cost you dearly in the long run. What seemed like a smart move quickly turned into a major setback. American's fleet decision would haunt it sooner than anyone imagined, serving as a cautionary tale for the entire industry. By 2022, international travel came roaring back, much faster than American had predicted. The skies were bustling again, and airports were filled with eager travelers. With so many long-haul planes gone, American couldn't meet the demand, while Delta and United quickly relaunched routes with their stored aircraft. They were ready to capitalize on the resurgence. American could only operate about 80% of its pre-pandemic international schedule, leaving huge profits on the table. The empty gates were a stark reminder of missed opportunities. To make matters worse, new Boeing 787 Dreamliners American had ordered were delayed, compounding the shortage. The wait for new aircraft seemed endless. The airline was forced to cut or suspend popular routes like those to Edinburgh and Shannon, and reduce flights to Asia and South America. These cuts were felt deeply by frequent flyers. Planes were shuffled to the most profitable transatlantic routes, weakening Americans' global network. The strategic shifts were necessary but painful. Customers lost options, and American lost market share. The disappointment was palpable among loyal passengers. The double blow, self-inflicted fleet cuts, and delayed new planes, left Americans scrambling. The operational strain was evident. The ripple effects were immediate, damaging, and hard to reverse. The once bustling lounges now stood eerily quiet. Americans' international presence shrank, disappointing travelers and investors alike. The frustration was widespread. The cost of betting wrong on the recovery was now painfully clear. The financial repercussions were severe. The world's biggest airline was suddenly short on planes and profits. The impact was felt across the entire industry. Facing challenges in New York and Boston, American tried to catch up by partnering with JetBlue in the Northeast Alliance. The plan coordinate schedules, share revenue, and let frequent flyers earn miles across both airlines. American cut its own domestic routes to focus on new international flights, relying on JetBlue to feed passengers. But the government saw the alliance as anti-competitive and sued to block it. A federal judge agreed, ordering the partnership to end. The collapse left Americans' new international routes without the domestic support they needed. Years of planning and investment vanished overnight. American was left even further behind in the critical Northeast market. The failed alliance was a costly distraction with no payoff. Instead of gaining ground, American lost time, money, and strategic focus. The Northeast gamble had failed to take off. American's expansion bets didn't stop in the Northeast. In Seattle, it partnered with Alaska Airlines to launch new long-haul routes, but delays, airspace closures, and Alaska's merger plans quickly unraveled the strategy. The Seattle hub was abandoned, with all long-haul flights canceled. In Austin, American rapidly grew from 8 to nearly 40 destinations, hoping to dominate a booming tech market. But the market couldn't support so many flights, and the expansion clashed with pilot union rules. As demand cooled, American slashed routes, retreating almost as quickly as it had arrived. Both Seattle and Austin expansions ended in costly retreats. Instead of building new strongholds, American spread itself too thin. The focus city strategy backfired, draining resources and morale. Chasing growth in the wrong places left American weaker where it mattered most. The lesson: not every boom is worth betting on. While chasing new markets, American neglected one of its most important hubs, Chicago O'Hare. United, its main rival, held steady while American cut 21% of its seats since 2019. Fewer flights and connections made American less attractive to travelers in Chicago. The city noticed, reallocating 4 of American's gates to other airlines, while United gained 5 new ones. American even sued to stop the loss, but lost in court. The shrinking Chicago hub was a direct result of American's other missteps. By focusing elsewhere, American weakened its own foundation. The loss of gates was both a symbolic and strategic defeat. Sometimes, defending your core is more important than chasing new opportunities. In 2023, American tried to force corporate travel agencies onto a new booking system, pulling 40% of its lowest fares from traditional channels. Agencies and companies, unprepared for the switch, pushed back hard. Many simply stopped booking with American, shifting business to Delta and United. The backlash was swift. American lost up to $1.5 billion in revenue in a single year. The airline reversed course, restored fares to the old system, and the executive behind the move departed. The failed tech gamble damaged relationships with American's most valuable customers. In trying to cut costs, American lost trust and business. The lesson: don't alienate your core customers for short-term savings. Rebuilding those relationships is now a top priority. Sometimes, innovation needs to move at the customer's pace. After a string of failures, American is now focused on stability and profitability. New Boeing 787s are arriving, featuring larger business class cabins to meet strong demand for premium travel. More premium seats mean more revenue per flight, helping close the gap with Delta and United. The upcoming Airbus A321XLR will let Americans serve long, thin routes profitably, replacing the retired 757s. This fleet modernization is key to recovery, giving American flexibility and efficiency. The new planes allow American to reopen old routes and explore new ones. Combined with a renewed focus on core hubs and better customer relationships, the strategy is more disciplined. The airline is finally matching the right aircraft to the right markets. It's a back-to-basics approach, grounded in operational reality. The hope these changes will put American back on a path to profitability. American's recent history is a lesson in how a few key decisions can set off years of struggle. Retiring too many planes, chasing risky partnerships, and alienating business travelers all compounded its problems. But the airline is now making smarter, more focused moves. New aircraft, a renewed focus on core markets, and rebuilding trust with corporate clients are all positive signs. The road to recovery is long, but American's strategy is finally grounded in fundamentals. Rebuilding a weakened hub and closing the profit gap won't happen overnight. But for the first time in years, American's plan looks credible. The world's biggest airline has learned some hard lessons. Its journey back to profitability will be closely watched. The next chapter for American Airlines is just beginning.